What is up, my fellow gamers? How are we doing today? Welcome to Indie Direct, where we look at nothing but new and obscure indie titles. And today we're looking at one I find fun as hell, even if it makes me want to rip out my own hair sometimes. Because today we'll be looking at Urtuk, the Desolation. For those who've been following the channel for the last several months, you would know by now that probably one of my favorite types of games are roguelike strategy games. Because this is that game to a T, and I love it. Because in Urtuk, it is an open world tactical turn-based RPG in a low fantasy setting. You can guide your band of heroes through the ruins of an ancient world, recruit new followers, loot the corpses of your fallen foes, and do your best to survive in this harsh and unforgiving realm. And Jesus almighty, is that not an understatement? Because the best way I can describe this game is if you mixed Final Fantasy Tactics, XCOM, and Darkest Dungeon smushed all together, and then voila, you have Urtuk the Desolation. For those of you who have played Darkest Dungeon, you would notice the similarities visually to this game and that game almost immediately. Everything's got this dark, nitty-gritty kind of look. The thing's kind of demented looking, where it's also kind of grotesque with some of the enemies and even some of your own characters. But everything in this game is hand-drawn. Enemies, weapons, gear, your characters, the environment, the maps. Everything is hand-drawn, which gives it a very simplistic yet really nice look. Now, audio-wise, the music for me brings attention to every fight because it's a deep sound, but it doesn't get too loud that overpowers everything else. Admittedly though, the actual sound effects of the game, of characters grunting and like when you shoot your crossbow if you have an archer, honestly those sounds do tend to get a little bit annoying and slightly overpowering once you play for several hours and just keep running the same sounds. But it's nothing too big, just more of a mild annoyance the longer you play. But now onto the fun stuff of gameplay. As you recall earlier, I said the game's a mixture of Final Fantasy Tactics, XCOM, and Darkest Dungeon. I say that because like XCOM and Final Fantasy Tactics, the map is a giant grid map. But instead of squares, you know, the little hexes, but that's the point. You have to navigate your units across the map with limited movement. Plus there's also elevation, and obviously that factors into combat as well. As in, if you're too high, you can't attack. You're too low, you can't attack. But if you're within 1 or 2 elevation difference, you can attack. And obviously, if you have the high ground, you get a damage and accuracy bonus. Now it pulls into XCOM because every single choice matters. If you make one wrong choice, the game will auto-save, and then, you know, you're stuck. You're screwed. What you did if you went somewhere where the path was, you thought it was navigatable, but it was too high. Your character doesn't have the elevation bonus to be able to climb or jump down a low enough spot, and you're stuck and you just wasted a turn trying to walk over there when you actually couldn't reach. And still like XCOM, but also Darkest Dungeon, the game is very unforgiving. You go against a boss monster that you think you can handle just because it's maybe level 13. All your groups in your 6-man party are 10, 11, 12, possibly even a 13, and they're maybe even a 14. But the bosses in this game can hit extremely hard. They have extremely high health. They do not go down easily, so it brings in a very brutal learning curve. So if you don't sit and think about almost every single move you make, every action, every attack, every unit you decide to equip, send down the party, or whatever, you could cost your entire campaign from either losing one of your favorite units to you game over and then you have to start back from zero. And speaking of recruiting, nearly every single enemy you encounter in this game is recruitable at one point or another. Sometimes you find an event that allows you to pull one. Other times, once you get further enough in the game, you can start a new game and immediately recruit them to your beginning party. Honestly, this game has so much going for it that I really can't keep talking about it because this video is going to get ungodly long, so I'm going to cut it short. The game may currently be in early access, but the entire campaign is already finished. The game is finished. The whole reason it is not a full release yet is because they are using guidelines from the community and suggestions from everybody to fine-tune the game and fix any open bugs before they actually let out the full release. The game is only $20 right now, and I fully recommend picking it up now when it's $20 before they decide to actually fully release the game and increase the price, because this game is definitely worth the price tag. And that's just not me being biased because I love these types of games. This game will give you plenty of hours to enjoy the game and allow you to play it. Plus, it's got such a high replayability just because you can change so many things, and every single thing in this game is randomized from the beginning. And even though I still have so much more that I want to talk about this game, I've let this video run way too far. So I'm going to cut it right now. You enjoy what we do here, so go ahead and like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. We always appreciate the support. I'm going to leave a link to this game in the description down below, and I still highly recommend you go pick this up. So until next time, guys, catch you later.